hey guys and gals. Hey guys and gals, what is good? What is good today? What is good? Intros. Yeah, let's get you guys, gals, pumped up, excited. Thank you for hitting the play button. That means a lot. It truly does. You beautiful, intelligent people, appreciate you. Johnny WhiskeyTango, sharp coding. Let's go, guys and gals. How you doing today? How are you doing today? Yeah. Yeah, that's my singing career. That's all, that's the extent of it, I know. That's why I'm not a millionaire singing and doing this, because I can't sing, I know, but I try. It's not too terrible. Could be worse, I guess. Let's go. We're going to get right into things today, guys and gals. Again, I appreciate you hitting the play button. Man, it's so awesome. It says a lot, okay? It says a lot to me about who you are as an individual. Intelligent, beautiful, intelligent individual that loves to learn, likes learning, and mathematics, maybe. I don't know. I know I do. I love mathematics. Great stuff. It's beautiful. I love numbers. All right, I'm going to quickly shout out followers and supporters of the channel because, I like to let you know that I appreciate you. Again, you follow, hit the like button if you like the content. And if you follow along, I'll even shout your name out too. It's amazing how that works. I can't exactly shout your name out if I don't know it, right? It's like seeing the number 0, but I guess you could see the number 0, but is 0 a number? What do you have if you have 0? Deep Thoughts by Johnny Sharp Coding. What would there be if there was nothing? What would it be like if there was nothing? If nothing existed, would nothing be a thing? What is nothing? I like doing that. It's kind of fun. All right, let's go, guys and gals. Nicole Trace 66, Bart number 1, Jim Jam 1238, Kazert 20, Gavin 555, Kamikaze ML. It's great to have you, brother. And I Ducky. Every single one of you guys I consider brothers and sisters. Okay? All right? That's for I Ducky. You guys could thank I Ducky for that. Yes, it's beautiful. Let's continue. Wicked Stat. Con Papas 9, also known as Con. And Slow Motions with a Z. Let's go. You guys are awesome. Guys and gals, YouTube followers, WX87, Flawless Hack, Salt of the Earth Ministry, Bless Brother, and Appreciate the support. Okay. Throw out the quick crowd yays, and we're gonna get going. Okay. The greatest thing about when stuff is not live, guys, it's crazy. It's wild. You could click forward, the forward button, It's amazing how that works. Okay, and it's great to have you. Just to let you know, I will see you in the future. The future. All right, turn it up. Where is that? Where is that? Where is that? Why is it? Here we go. I found it. Let's go. And play. And... Yeah! Yeah! The crowd goes wild for you guys and gals. The crowd goes wild. That's my other supporters in the background. You can't see them though. Ah, yes. I don't have a camera because Bologna&Weiners comes first. All right, turn it up. Let's go. Hold up. Yeah. What am I doing? Dropping the ball. Let's go. Yes, hilarious. I love it. Okay, guys, gals, it's so awesome to have you. It truly is. Thank you for continuing watching this series. To let you know, heads up, we are doing a class. This is a class, a lecture. Okay. It's a long one. Well, I don't know. Is it a long one? Probably is. I don't know. Stretched out, length. I don't know. But you're getting a lot of good information and detail. I do like to I like to explain things, make sure you guys fully understand. Maybe a little too much. I don't know, right? But I'm trying. Okay. Just want you, because you guys, gals, I believe in you. You could do this. Okay, you could learn this. And that's my goal, to kind of just, explain it until you get it. And well, repetition's good too, right? That's how we remember things. Lots of repetition and studying and reading. Okay. So we're going to continue on. We were last working on some if statements. We're moving towards adding in some else statements as well. Did I add any in? No. We're going to just clean things up here. Okay. Yeah, this is all done. Okay. So if you missed that, sad face, but happy face if you go back and watch the content. Again, you got to kind of follow this series if you are interested in learning and kind of grinding and just doing different coding and stuff here here with Johnny, Whiskey Tango Coding Sharp. All right, it's great to have you again. Quick build run, and I know I need to put it in another gear, and I'm gonna try here. Okay, guys, let's do this. Avoiding common errors with if statements. Okay, many novice C++ programmers inadvertently put a semicolon after their if statements. What are they thinking, Bob? Right? That's a negatory, okay? Okay? It's always, all you have to do is press the, okay, as soon as you type in if, space, parentheses. You just click the left one, boom, you get both. Click the left curly brace, boom, get both. And then you can just hit enter at that point because the cursor actually sits in the middle. And if you are going with the other style of curly braces, then it's just a matter of doing that. Another way to do this is when I do these, I'll just move the cursor over, backspace, enter, put it back in the middle, and boom. Okay? However, it all works the same, right? Now, when you create, I don't know, an if statement, and inside you're going to put your arguments, some value is greater than 10. We haven't declared it, so it doesn't recognize it. So they're saying a lot of people put semicolon. No. Okay, this is why the best thing to do is just continue grinding different lines of code, lots of statements, and you'll get used to what goes where. Again, everything is kind of like, I don't want to use the word order of operations, but it's kind of like there's a sequence to the way you type the code. Okay, once you learn that, and the more you do, the better you're going to get. You're going to remember. Okay, in the beginning, if you need to reflect on notes and what else not, there's nothing wrong with that, guys. I took a lot of notes, a lot of screenshots while I was learning. Okay, and then you reflect back on your notes because sometimes you forget. Oh my goodness, how do you do that again? Oh, I forgot. And then you just go back, right? Reflect on your notes, and boom, life is good again. Okay, again, a lot of grinding and a lot of just repetition. Okay. So your statements have the semicolon. So if I actually declare some value, then I don't know, I'm going to say it's 12. And then that ends with a semicolon. Okay? Excuse me. Got the hiccups kind of all of a sudden. What was intended here was to test whether some value is less than 10. And if so, to test it to make 10, making 10 the minimum value for some value. Well, I guess it could have been 10, right? Because then that would make more sense with what I just said. Why? Why? The if statement terminates when the semicolon, the do nothing operator. Remember that indent? What is it? They talk about do nothing operator. Is that what they call the semicolon? It's a terminator, right? The semicolon terminates. The way I've been kind of explaining it is the program itself kind of needs to know when the line ends, right? When you run it or compile it, and also it needs it for that, right? It lets the program know, hey, that's the end of the line, go to the next line, okay? Remember that indentation has no meaning to the compiler. The snippet could more accurately have been written as, okay, we'll just mess things up a little bit, but they do call it a do nothing. That's interesting. Okay. Do nothing. I've never heard of it called that way. I just think of it as a, semicolon at the end of your statement, right? And then, of course, I could reassign it in the sense. I'll just go like this. This code isn't really going to work. We're just typing stuff. Okay, guys? I just reassigned the value from 10 to 12. Okay, removing the semicolon makes the final part of the if statement and makes this code do what was intended. Okay, and you can do this too, but it's not common. Let me go like this. Okay, I've declared it. Okay, we're gonna do it the right way. Okay, curly brackets. This is the normal common way, right? Just get used to it, how it's typed, right? The syntax. There's a pattern to it, right? If, and then of course, right, like I said, as soon as you type if, just type your regular brackets, parentheses, move the cursor over, hit the curly bracket, and then hit enter. Okay, if that's the style you want, that's quick for you, right? If you want the other style, you just have to do that. But let's carry on. So here's the normal way, the way it's supposed to be written. Also, so I'm just going to go like this. And then let's just, I don't know. We're just throwing whatever inside the body. Okay? So basically, if this is true, it's going to run whatever's inside. Okay? This is what this means. And it is true because some value is... Actually, no, it's false. I'm wrong. My bad. Because there's no equal sign, right? It's actually less than. So you do have to be aware of that. If this was 11, it would be true. Okay? Because 10 is now inclusive. Okay, so anyways, it's false, but that's okay, no matter. So we'll just pretend it's true, or I'll just make it true. There we go. And then here we just basically change the value. That's all we've done. And then so something else you can do, but it's not common. Okay, you can put a semicolon at the end of your if statements. All right, but here's my advice, guys and gals. Like nowadays, obviously it's 2025. This is a bit of an older lesson plan, but the theory and everything's all the same. This may be an old school way of typing things. I don't know. But I do know that once you start a pattern of the way you write your statements and your code, stick to it. Don't change it, right? Try to be consistent. That's my advice, right? Don't have different variations and different styles in all different areas of your code. It looks, well, it doesn't look professional, right? It'd be kind of like doing an essay that's, I don't know, the best example, but you kind of understand, right? You have to be consistent with your format and your style, right? Pick a style that you like. I'm showing you different variations and different styles. As a beginner, as a coder, just go with what you like. Who cares what anybody else likes or dislikes? It doesn't matter. It's about you. Okay? You're the one typing it. You're the one creating it. You're the one making it. You do you. Okay? Everybody else could go eat beans. Okay? Or go write their own code if they think their way is better. Alright? Again, you're learning, right? So, pick your style. Stick to it. Alright? That's my advice. Indentation styles. One style of indenting if statements. Nothing is more likely to create a religious war, however, than to ask a group of programmers what is the best style for brace alignment. There we go, okay? That's kind of a little bit of a dirt burger. In all honesty, if you're rolling up to what you think is advanced coders and going, "Hey, Bob, how do you do this?" Right? It just doesn't look good, right? Just, you be you, man. You figure it out. Okay? You go with your style. Again, different companies are going to have different styles. Everybody's going to have their own opinion of a style. There's never going to be pleasing, right? So, and don't judge anybody else's style. If they do coding like this, right? Let's say there's styles like this. That's an actual style, right? And that's fine, each to their own. Okay? Let me find that section. All right, so like here you get shown the different ways and the different styles. You be an individual, be your own person, and go with what you like. Okay? Right on. That's awesome. Love it. Okay, I'm going to try to find the terminology. Well, not the terminology, but the different styles and what they're called. One's K and R, K and I don't know. To me, it's like information. I know about it. It's in my head, but it's not really that critical or important. It's just a name of the type of style. And different companies have different styles, so you might have to follow their style too, which means you might have to break old habits as well. Unless you're an indie developer, it doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. Again, but you should follow industry styles and standards. You have to do that at the minimum. Okay? So here we go. C++, indentation, braces, styles. Here we go. Okay? So this is a while statement. We'll get into it. Don't worry about it. They're not that bad, guys. Okay? It's just another way of doing things if you want a certain output or result in your code. That's all it is. Okay? So even with while statements, you could do that, right? So you see the curly bracket is here. It's called the K&R style and variants. These are the different companies, and these are the standard styles with Java and JavaScript. So it's said. I don't know because I don't type this type of code or script, okay? I could easily learn it though. I know I could. But my goal is to be, I didn't want to say Dave Plummer, but I wish. But, become really, really efficient and effective at C++. So I'm putting all my time and attention into this. I can C# code as well. I can. But this is my first language, except for BASIC. But BASIC, when I was young, teenager, I typed maybe, 20, 30 lines of code, really just copying out of a book. So it's not really being a coder. It's just more like, oh, wow, is this ever cool? Sort of thing. And that's really the extent of what I did back in the day. Okay, and then the style I use now is called almond style. Okay? There you go. A lot of the syntax and format too and line coding has to be the same, right? Again, there's certain things that have to be typed in a certain order in a certain way for the expressions or statements to work, okay? But you guys will get you there, okay? So I know this is maybe a slow learning train here, but the goal is to get you to understand and go over a little theory and knowledge and explain the nuances and differences of things, right? Because let's be real, anybody could do a 5-10 minute video on how to do, no explain, how do, no explain, right? Okay, that's great. You know how to start a car, but do you know what happens under the hood with the engine? Right? You know what I mean? Anybody could start a car. I think I could get my cat to start a car, right? The cat doesn't need to know how to start a car. And the cat doesn't even know what's happening under the hood, for that matter, right? Gotta understand what's happening under the hood. Okay, you just do. Alright, well that's just kind of an example. I mean, you don't really need to know what's happening under a car hood or how a car works. You can still drive it. technically speaking. But if somebody comes across and asks you a question, you're not going to be able to answer it, right? How's that going to make you look? All right, putting the initial brace after the condition and aligning the closing brace under the if to close the statement block, right? So that's what you do, right? These are statement blocks. Okay, whoops. Wrong button. Commenting out. So these are called blocks, right? It's where you make the magic happen inside the block of code, right? If this is true, whatever's inside here gets run, basically. So statement block, you're calling it, okay? I'll just put that for information. All right, block of code. You'll hear the term of block of code as well, okay? And it could be anything, right? You could maybe return what some value is, right? Here's the format, guys, right? Standard, : C out. These operators, right? This is Pac-Man's mouth. You're going out, okay? Anytime you want to speak something, you put quotations. String literals, they're called as well. And then if you want to put more information, you need another set of operands, okay? I do have the name of them. I don't know why I always have to go back and reflect on the name of them. I know the name, I just really don't memorize it. But anyways, here we go. Stream insertion operator, okay? And with the CN, it's the other direction. These are for user input. Stream extraction operator. Okay? Kind of glad I found that quickly. So there we go. Now we want to return the value. And then we'll just do a standard end line. Again, this is more syntax, another style you could go with. Right? And I could even continue writing standard end lines. As long as you end your statement with semicolon, and these operators are separating what's happening, right? The program, I imagine, goes through this, sees this, goes to this, goes to this, goes to this, goes to this. Imagine it jumps. I mean, I'm not inside the computer. I can't see how it goes, but I imagine it reads all this, right? That totally makes sense. Okay. Aligning the braces under the if and indenting the statements. Again, I showed you the different styles, right? That style. Let's see. Okay. Oh, yeah. No, that's kind of cringe. Indenting the braces and statements. So check this out. I'm just going to copy this. This is cringe to me. Oof. I don't do this, but you'll see people like do that kind of stuff. Ugh. They'll line things up. They'll even line up their, like, let's say I'm declaring variables. It's just another way of people do things, but it's not common, right? So I'm just gonna go variable and equals, I don't know, who cares? It doesn't matter, right? There we go. Okay, and then I'm going to create another variable. Going like this. Watch this. Okay, comma. I keep everything in line. That's what I do. Let's say I had a bunch. Okay. Just for an example. Okay, I'm going to do 4. This is just a quick example. Okay, and then I'll change the values to, it doesn't really matter. Ugh. Okay. All right, there. So I call this inline. That's what I do. In a line. Right? in a line, linear, in a linear fashion. Okay? Hopefully you weren't sleeping in mathematics class. You'll know what linear means. All right? Okay. So you'll see people, because they like to organize their code a little bit. Again, this is an example. And normally I would put variables at the top, right, where they should be, above your code, right? Because we're declaring it above the rest of our code. They'll do this. Enter. Enter. You can see how it all lines up. Whoops. Enter. It actually automatically entered, but you could do that as well. And this actually reads these all as ints. Okay? So this is actually, as a matter of fact, this is better than what, let's say, you declared each one, right? Except in this case, it would be typed different because each one becomes a singular statement when you do this. Okay? So here we're actually, you notice how it's different? When you have everything in line, this is actually in line, but I just went enter, 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 right? Are you following? I hope so. Okay? Here, each one is independent of each other. Each statement is independent of each other because there's a semicolon at the end. That's the terminator, right? The terminator. So that's why we have to redeclare the variable each time. As a matter of fact, if you like your variables to be inline, or not inline, but I don't know what you would call it. Can't really call it a brick walled because they're one underneath the other, right? Stacked, if you will. This looks a lot cleaner than this. Okay, so you could type everything in line like I did. Remember, you're still separating by commas. Okay, if you like this style, perfect, go with it. If you like this style, perfect, you go with it. Okay? Or maybe you prefer this and you like declaring each one, then go with this style. Okay? Whoops. It's solely and entirely up to you. Again, you're the coder, but you do have to realize if you're working for a company, there's going to be people there that have been there for however long, and they're going to be, that guy where everything has to be a certain way, right? So you might end up having to break old habits and such. Okay, just as a heads up, right? That's just work. That's office environment stuff, right? You can't really fight that stuff unless you want to look for another job. Maybe you don't care. Anyways, okay, in this case, there you go, right? So there's some different styles. This course uses the middle alternative, meaning they use this alternative. Actually, I'm going to just go like this. Put that back. This alternative is what they're talking about. And that's what I do. It's called the almond style. Okay? Same thing with whiles, right? No different. Okay? I'll do the exact same format or style. Okay? So again, you don't have to type it the way I do it. You type it the way you like to do it. All right? You be you. Okay? You be you. All right. Let's see. Because it's easy to understand where blocks of statements begin and end, right? Well, everybody's going to have a differencing of opinions about that. But it does, for me, it looks cleaner. I don't know why I changed. you kind of get that extra space, like you're actually deleting one line. Not deleting, but you're saving on, instead of being at line 1000, maybe you're at line 750. You know what I mean? Preference thing. Okay, and then working with a new company, everybody has to start out somewhere, right? You might have to just, life is not always perfect, okay? Sometimes you have to suck things up, take a little bit of, I don't know, whatever, right? And learn how to type code the way a company wants you to type it, right? It may leave a bad taste in your mouth, and you might like, great, I have to type it like this, right? I don't know, it just depends. You got to get the experience, right? Get the experience, and then you can go and do the way you like to do things, right? But you have to get that experience. It's not easy, guys, okay? And you almost have to do better than, everybody else that's fighting for the same position, right? You have to stand out somehow. I don't know how, but you'll figure it out. All right, I need some coffee. Not really going on a tangent. I mean, guys, it's still all coding and industry related stuff, all right? I couldn't find my other heartbeat sound, so hope you like that one. What the hey? How does this thing? Okay, I thought it jumped around here on me. All right, let's keep moving forward. So the L statement. Okay, let me just finish reading this. I don't know if it's really, but we'll just still read it. Okay. They say because it's easy to understand where blocks of statements begin and end if the braces line up with each other and with the condition being tested. For me, yeah, I can see where it begins and ends. I like it. You end up getting another line of code, but that's fine. Instead of it making instead of it looking like you only typed 750 lines of code, it now looks like you typed 1,000 lines of code. Again, it doesn't matter which style you choose, so long as you are consistent with it. Pick a style and just stick to it. I know you can change your styles as you advance too, right? I went from this style to this style. It's easier to go like this, to be honest, do a singular enter than to backspace and that's a lot more extra work kind of going backwards. I recommend you start with this style because it's easy to just go backspace enter, 2 button presses. And imagine if you have, 100 if statements to go through, right? It's all up to you. Okay, once your program needs to take one branch and your condition is true, Once your program needs to take one branch if your condition is true, or another if it is false. Okay, here we're getting into the else statement. Okay, I guess I should have said that. That would have made more sense. Okay, and what we're gonna type here, you wanted to print one message. Let's go Mets, right? The prior example, prior stream. If the first test Met score was greater than Yankee score evaluated true, another message, go Yankees, if it evaluated false. The method so far, testing first one condition and then the other, works fine, but is a bit cumbersome. The keyword else can make for far more readable code. Sorry guys, can't English today. Better at math. It's okay. And I can spell. Really, I did well in spelling, and I did well in creating grammatically correct sentences. I had an excellent English teacher. She was awesome. I learned so much from her. Intelligent lady. And I wish I could remember her name, but it was quite a number of years ago. Yeah, because of her I could do that, but I can't write an essay. Essays with, like, I get the idea, intro, body, conclusion, I get that. But there's so much in between. It's like, this is too much. For some reason, coding doesn't break my brain, but an essay will. Isn't that crazy? Yeah. I could type up a bunch of stuff and say, hey, ghostwriter, you want to make some money? The ghostwriter has to be good at writing essays. I'll be clear about that. All right, the methods shown so far, testing first one condition and the other works fine, but cumbersome, blah, blah, blah. Let's get into if else, okay? So I'm just going to clean this up just to keep it nice and clean. Okay, I'm going to get rid of this as well. Well, do I want to keep one? I'll just keep that in case we need a couple of variables. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I'll be making new variables. We'll see. Okay, so we're going to get into the else statement. So let me fix this. And I'm going to type else. And it's always, you notice the position. And there are no, this is the pattern, guys, right? Learn the pattern. With an else, all you do, there are no parentheses or brackets. It's curly brackets immediately after. Okay? There you go. There's the pattern. Clean, concise, simple. Inside, you put your expression. Okay? They call it an expression, but yeah, call it an expression. And then, of course, in the body are your statements. Right? Same thing with here. Statements. Okay? I've already showed you. It could be anything you want. You could change the value of a variable. You could output standard see out some information. Whatever, it depends on what you're building, right? That's the format or the style right there. Okay? Again, you don't need else statements with an if. You could just have a singular if statement. Maybe that's the only expression you want. Just depends what other arguments you got going on. If this is not true, then it just does this, right? If this is false, right? It goes to here. In this case, actually, this is false all the time because I type false. That actually would work, right? So, right, you get the point. If this is false, it doesn't even go inside here. It jumps right to the else statement, and it'll print the else statement. What's the opposite of false? Well, no, sorry, let me correct myself. False is 0. Okay, remember? Hopefully you've been watching. Okay, true is 1, and false is 0. Okay, I can't type false. again, one of them words. It's I don't know, bad habits I kind of created. I wish I didn't cheat in typing class in high school, right? Don't do that, guys. Force yourself to learn so that you can type without looking. Okay, don't cheat yourself. You're just cheating yourself if you're cheating. Really, that's what it is. And I know I could kick myself in the rear and realize I cheated myself, right? So now when I'm typing, I kind of have to look. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. But my left hand seems to type faster than my right hand. I don't know what it is. Or my left hand only, maybe my right hand just falls asleep. I don't know. It's annoying. It gets annoying when you type and like this all the time, and the like this, and you can just see how I type false. You know what I mean? You're constantly having to fix and edit, and it's annoying, right? Especially when you know how to spell, you know how the words are supposed to be spelled, but you end up having to correct words that you shouldn't even have to correct had you been typing them properly. Anyways, yeah, that's some of my pain in life. Okay, anyways, no matter. Just continue on and continue trudging on. That's what you do. All right, let's type up something simple, basic. Are we doing a CN? Yeah, we are. Okay, so I'm going to clean things up. We're going to create a couple of new variables. First number, which is going to be 0, and second number, which is also going to be 0. We're just declaring them. This is all we're doing. They are initialized too, in a sense. They are. It's just a different way of initializing them, that's all. But it works. Okay, so now let's type some code, some statements. And what are we going to say first? User, please enter a big number. Okay, now the user doesn't know the range. It could be like a user could press like a crazy amount of numbers, right? They could, technically speaking, could print or type alphabet characters too, right? In a sense, they are still characters correlated with the ASCII table and such, but yeah, I don't want to go on a tangent, but a normal person would type what they're supposed to type. If they're asked to type in a number, normal people would type in a number. They wouldn't try to see if they could break it, you know. Advanced coding, there are workarounds for that. You can actually do things where they can't enter anything other than numbers. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm not going to have an end line, okay? The reason I type it like this, guys, gals, and you'll see it a lot, is because when I run this, I want the cursor to be waiting and flashing right here. Okay? I don't want to enter my values below. I want to enter my values beside. Okay? Here's the part where we get the user to enter. Again, if you haven't been following along, you don't know what CN and all that is, I recommend you go back a video or two, follow the series. It's great to have you. I'm trying to continue moving forward here in the lessons. If I keep having to re-explain, it's already taken me long enough, it feels like. A lot of the viewers have lots of patience with me, which is like, man, you guys are like, whew, you guys are awesome, legends. So, but yeah, we're trying to keep things moving forward here. If I'm having to explain again, which of our things I've already explained, then we're kind of moving backwards. We're kind of stalling. We're not really moving forwards, right? We are, but we could actually be moving a little bit quicker. Okay, so that's the goal here. All right, let's get the user to enter the second number. If you're gonna I don't want to use the word lazy, but if you're gonna copy and paste, again, some companies don't recommend you copy and paste because you'll paste it and then you'll start typing maybe new lines of code or new statements and then forget to go back and change things, right? Again, imagine if you're working in a 1,000-line program or whatever, for example. You're going to have to spend that time looking for wherever you made your mistake, right? If you're getting results that are not expected. Okay? So I recommend as soon as you copy, make sure you update the information. So please enter a smaller number. Here's the other thing. I'm going to find the code in the future. Stay tuned, but there's a way where if a user, it's called swapping. I probably could do that now, but I don't want to spend the time trying to look for it. We might we'll get into that. We will. I'll show you how to swap using a temp, and I'll show you how to swap without a temp. It's really not that bad. You have to learn how to swap without a temp. Okay, that's my advice. Especially if you're going to interviews. That's one of the things you're going to have to do. Learn how to swap variables without using a temp. All right? Okay, so there's a way where you could, let's say the user decide, I'm gonna be a little evil troll. I'm gonna type a small number first, and then I'm gonna type a big number because I'm a terrible person. I'm just kidding, guys, or am I? But the point is, you can actually swap. And then the joke's on them, right? You as a coder, you're going, ha, L. We know a workaround that. There is a workaround. Okay, but you can do this. Some other stuff you can do, they're called like checks, right? You could use if statements like checks. Okay, so if first number, right, this is common how you would do if statements. We're comparing, right? And there we go. If first number is greater than second number, so if this is true, right? If this is true, this will always be true. If I run it, this will always be true because I'm actually being explicit saying it's true. Putting a number is actually true, makes it true. Crazy. Wow. Mind blowing, I know. But you can do that as well. All right. But we'll put in statements or expressions. Okay. If first number is greater than second number, now it depends on what the user enters, right? Then it's going to do whatever's in here. Okay, and we'll just standard CO, I don't know, something like, thanks for not being a troll. You've entered the correct values. I don't know, requested, sure. Okay. Something to that effect. Now here we're going to do else. Okay, whoops, wrong brackets. Those are used for something else. Okay, else. I don't care, it's for laughs. Okay? Like it or love it. It don't matter. Okay? I'm used to people being quitters anyways. Okay, so I'm going to type, you are a troll. You're definitely a troll. Or no. Wow. You're trolling. Okay? I don't know. No, we'll just keep it like that because could say more, but alright. There we go. And there's a basic, easy, simple, essentially it is a program. It's small, not a lot going on. We're going to get the user to enter in a first number. We're going to get the user to enter a second value. Those values are going to be stored into the variable. The variable is going to put it in position in your memory, i.e. your RAM. It's going to have a location. It's going to have an address. It's going to be a container, and it's going to hold that value. Think of it, the container is like a shoebox, and you threw in a dice or a die. And that number you entered is on that die. I could shake the shoebox, and that die is going to be kind of shaking around inside, right? Well, that's what the value is. It's the value is inside the container, and you can shake it around, all right? I could call it shoebox, I could call it container, whatever I want to use for my variables. Again, variables are your creation. You're the line coder, you're the creator of your program. You have to come up with your own variables, okay? And there are styles of variables. So if you need more information on that, maybe do a search on camel case. Typing in camel case C++, something to that effect, will give you maybe something on the different styles of how you can type your variables. Okay, a lot of it depends on what you're doing, right? We're inside the main doing stuff, so I'm using what's called camel case, or you could just keep it all lowercase, right? You could, in this sense, you could do it this way as well, right? We're just in the main creating variables, but again, you have to kind of pick a style and be consistent. So yeah. All right, let's build this and run it. 52. Okay, good. This is nice. I like errors. Syntax error missing before on 52, it says. Okay, let's have a look. Right there. See, right at the end, I forgot my semicolon. Okay. All right, this is not Python. Let's run it. Okay, build, run, let's go. Okay, enter a big number. Okay, let's do it the way you're supposed to do it. Okay, enter a big number. All right, I don't know what the range is. Again, the user isn't going to know data types. It's not going to know the range. The user could type some wild amount of numbers. There is a way to make your code so they can, a lot of the I don't want to call it erased, but we'll get there. I'll show you guys some examples. We're not going to get in that today because we're just trying to keep it basic, general, easy for now. All right, I want you guys to keep watching. I don't want to throw in a bunch of wild code programming and then it's just the way I'm thinking is I want to keep you wanting to come and wanting to watch and wanting to learn. Yeah, the goal is not to scare you off and act like, oh, I know how to type magical, oh, look at me, look how good I am. I really don't care. Right? So we're keeping it basic. We're learning at a gradual level, kind of like a slope formula line, on a right triangle. All right, so we're going to enter 56. Okay? All right, boom, enter. Nice. Oh, a smaller number. What's a smaller number than 56? Well, that's 34. Boom. Let's go. Thanks for not being a troll. You've entered the correct values. And I can't even finish. And I just finished saying I could type properly, grammatically correct sentences, and apparently I can't. Okay, that's okay. I know I can see I did something. Okay, I see it. All right. We'll do that quickly again. 56 and 34, and there we go. Yay! Thanks for not being a troll. You entered. I can't even type entered. I must have fat fingers. I must have really fat fingers. As a matter of fact, I want to have a new line here as well in front. Okay, you can do that. And then I probably should toss one here at the end as well. Okay, being consistent here. Now let's be the troll, okay? Because there's always that, that guy. I don't know. But there we go. See? Wow, you're trolling. Let's go. See, guys? So closing this. Pretty simple, straightforward, right? You can see how an if-else statement works. It's kind of like an A or a B thing. Or if this is true, then do that. If it's false, then do something else. Right? That's what the else does. Okay? We can advance this code. We could advance it where using get line, cin, something. It's a method that you can use with strings, where a user can only enter a certain amount of characters. It's not stored in, like cin only stores in so many characters. It can't store in, if you have 2 words, if I recall, I'm just kind of going off memory here. If you try to enter 2 words, we're not entering strings here, we're just entering numbers, so it's fine. But when you get into strings and such, the standard cin only stores the first word you type. Okay, so things to be aware of. We're not there yet, but doesn't hurt to talk about it now. You have an idea, right? Again, a user could be a troll and type a really, really long number, end up being out of the range. You could do if out of range, have, some other else statements thrown or something to that effect. Anyways, let's just worry about, learning and growing and gradually building up on it, okay? We'll get there. All right, so I'm not going to explain what's happening line by line. Hopefully you guys get it, right? It's pretty straightforward, right? You're smart. I know you get it. Because I don't want to be that guy and keep over explaining stuff. I think you get it, right? If not, just drop something in the comments below if you're on YouTube. Right? I'm not gonna be, I'm gonna be cool about it. I'll help you, right? I'm not that guy that acts like I know it all, Anyways, okay? There's always something to learn. Doesn't matter how old you are. That's facts. Okay, the if statement, the syntax for the if statement is, we've already shown that, right? If, expression, statement, this is a statement. And then if not, next statement, sort of thing. If the expression is evaluated as true, the statement is executed, right? Again, if this is true, this gets executed. If this is false, this gets executed. I guess I should have explained that part, but that's how it works. Okay, guys? Right? This only runs if it's true. Okay? This has to be true because you only need one if, right? You only need one block expression. If this isn't true, then it just does this. That's how it works. Okay? So I'm going to write true. If that's true, it runs this. Right? It's obvious. Or 1. Okay? It'll still run 2. Okay? If this is false, this gets run. Okay? That's how it works. And false is 0. I just typed that just to be consistent so you guys know. Okay? So you associate true with 1 and false with 0. All right. I don't need to go on more about that. Okay, let's continue. So we could do what's called advanced if statements. It is worth noting that any statement could be used in an if or else clause, even another if or else statement. So they're called nested, but you could actually use an if inside of an if. Okay, I know that's mind-blowing, but you can. Maybe it just depends, I don't know, it could be a mathematical program you're building or something, right? You could have different true or false. You know, this is kind of the leading one, the one that takes charge. It doesn't go into this code unless this is true, right? Okay? So if this is not true, it's not even going to go into this. It's just going to jump right to the else. It gets skipped, if you will, okay? So yeah, you can have more than one. And same thing with an else, right? There's nothing, these are called nested, right? Okay, let's say maybe I'll just for an example, okay? Let's say we don't normally, I don't know, I'm just gonna put test number, okay? Okay. I haven't given test number a value, so actually I'm gonna give it, I'm gonna say 54. Okay, I'm giving it a literal constant, okay? And then I'm gonna go, so if the user enters a number, okay, if it's equal to test number, I don't know, something like, wow, you've guessed my favorite number, right? Let's say you're making a little fun game or program or something, right? Oh man, I really can't type. You guys want to type for me? Wow, you've guessed my favorite number, right? Just something random. But the first number has to be bigger than the second number before it'll even go into this. Okay? Now this will only run if the user enters the first number, it has to equal that number. Okay? It's like a guessing game, actually, as a matter of fact. So you're creating a guessing game, or it could be a dice roll thing or something. It could be anything. The world's your oyster once you learn how to do code, guys. Then you start becoming, like, in a sense, you're not becoming artistic, but you're becoming, I don't know, expressive. You're becoming, like, you're creating something. Right, here we go. So I'm going to enter 54. Okay. Just by random luck. And I'm going to go, wow, see? Look at that, boom. Wow, you've guessed my favorite number. Right? And that only happened because this is true. Both of these have to be true. This was first true, so it went into this block of code. Then it reads this and goes, and then it goes here and it goes, oh wow, first number is also true. So then it goes right into here. There's no need for it to go into here, right? So I'll run it again, and let's say I go 55 and 34. Then it's going to go into that other block of code. Thanks for not being a troll. You've entered the correct values requested. That's funny. I like it. All right, so you get the idea? So you can have nested if-else statements. Now you can really go wild, but you don't want to go wild. You don't want to get too carried away with it. You can also have more than one expression, right? Let's say, just as another example, I actually haven't done any yet, but there's and/ors. I'm gonna not get into that now, but we could have and/or expressions as well. Okay, I'll talk about that when we get to it. You're just gonna have to stay tuned. All right, appreciate you. All right, so I'm gonna just not read this stuff. We're gonna keep going. That wasn't confusing at all, right, guys? It's really not that bad. Okay, that's pretty clean, I think. All right. Oh, here we go. Asking for two numbers, assigning the numbers to big number and little number. If big number is bigger than little number, see if they are equally divisible. If they are, see if they are the same number. Okay? So this is where we're getting into modulo. So they're calling this a complex nested if statement. I'm going to clean this up. I might even just start from scratch, okay? All right, clean slate. We'll just start a new little program right from scratch. You get the idea. So they're calling it a complex one. Don't let the word, just because they use the word complex, don't let it make it complex. It's not really that complicated. It's just, you're just doing more stuff. Okay, but we do have to talk about the modulo a little bit. Okay, I know I've talked about it in the past, but or in prior videos, but we'll go over it again briefly. I did kind of a good stream on modulo a little bit. I mean, I even learned some things too. I don't use modulo really. I use it for determining if something's even or odd. That's really all I use it for. But it has, like, there's actually a pattern in the numbers too, which I didn't know about, which is cool. Very cool. I'm gonna have to actually go back and just do a little more grinding with modulo, just to see how you can use it, right? You could use it at a more advanced level. Okay, here we go. I found the section. Just going through, these are all my streaming notes that I've been kind of slowly building this little C++ book, I guess, if you will. It's more knowledge-based and theory-based than example-based. There are some examples, but it's more theory-based, right? I want to create it where if there's a certain area of C++ that you kind of forgot about, but you need to refresh your memory, you can grab the book, go to the section and go, oh yeah, right, now I remember. And then you can just carry on, right? Okay, the 5 mathematical operators: addition plus, subtraction minus, multiplication asterisk, division is forward slash, right? We're coding here, guys, right? I know we learn a different style when we're in mathematics class, but again, like times can be x, right? Or multiplication can be x, right? I'll just type it here. The thing is, with x, we could use x as a variable, so it can get a little confusing, and also it's probably hard on the brain too, seeing too many x's. Who wants an x anyways? Sheesh. Going back to x's is okay, but just do realize it might not work out. Okay, I'm going to continue on. And then, of course, division, I can't really do it, but it's, for me, division, when you're doing your algebra problems, do it in fraction form, guys and gals. That's what I recommend. Again, we could just... I don't recommend you solve your algebra problems in a linear fashion. If you have a division symbol, just write the problem in where the division portion is in a fraction form, okay? That's my recommendation. Okay, and then so here's what we're getting into, the modulus, okay, or modulo. All right, you understand all the other ones. I know you're intelligent. I don't need to explain how math works, right? Even though I love math, I do. What do I got going on here? Okay, so basically modulo is percentage symbol. That's what you use in code, is the percentage symbol. Okay, so when you see that in somebody's code, your brain goes, oh, I know what that is. And then your brain goes, oh yeah, think remainders. Right? So I did the long division here on a problem. I don't know why it got all messed up again. Let's just go like this. There. Okay. This is long division. You guys should know how to do long division. Obviously, I can too. Larger numbers, it could get a little monotonous, but it is doable. So we get a remainder value, right? A lot of times when I'm doing division, I'll think of the decimal portion. Try not to confuse the decimal portion with a remainder. Okay, guys? You got to kind of separate it in your head a little. I do that myself. I know I do. That's why modulo could get a little bit confusing maybe. Just when you divide a number, the first number before 0 is going to be 23, right? And then you're going to normally have like a decimal portion. It could be anything, right? I'll just type some random numbers. Don't think of the decimal portion. You got to kind of separate the decimal from the remainder. The remainder is actually a fraction. This belongs as a fraction. I'm just trying to think of it. Is it 6 over 8? I can't recall. It could be. I'd have to do it on a calculator. Okay, I think it works out to 6 over 8, which is 3 over 4, so 3/4. So let's go 190 divided by 8. Oh, look at me. There we go. So that's the decimal portion. Right there, you guys. Okay? So what the remainder means is, this is how it works. The remainder is actually 6 over 8. So the final answer, so I'm just going to put the 23 here. I'm going to get rid of this. In fraction form is this. Okay? Do you see how the numbers work? I think this is key to understanding. Okay? So now we have to reduce it, right? Which reduces to, right? I'm going to factor 2 out of both. Don't let the word fact. All we're doing is taking the top number, finding a common number. The common number between both these numbers is 2. So I'm going to pull 2 out of that. I'm going to pull 2 out of that. That leaves me 3. That leaves me 4. There we go. Okay, so that's what the 6 means. So my point is, don't confuse the decimal portion with this. Okay, but now you understand, right? That's what the 6 is. I didn't mean to get into that, but here we are. I don't know. I like teaching math a little bit as well. Okay, enough of that. Let's keep going. All right. I love math. Yes, I do. All right. So we're going to start again. Let's start typing code. Oh, and if you're wondering where the 8 came from, I guess. Oh, please don't move. The 8 comes from here. That's your denominator. Okay? Okay? This 6 is this 6. The 8 is actually what you're... Right? We're going 190 divided by 8. It's actually your denominator. Okay? Just a final little tidbit in case you were wondering. Alright, let's go. Int. First number. I should have kept them, but whatever. We'll type them again. Second number. Semicolon. Oh, I turned it into a... It turned into a function. No, we're not doing a function. Okay, so I should have kept all the stuff I had earlier, but that's okay. Can I actually undo? Let's see if I can undo and get all that back. Let's see. Save some typing here. There we go. Boom. Okay, I'm just going to delete this. There we go. Okay, same beginning. Okay, I just saved some time and I went backwards in memory. Everything you do gets saved in memory too, guys. That's why you can undo redo. I don't know how many saves it saves. I don't want to call it saves, but storages. I think it stores up to about 200 undos or something like that. I don't know. Something like that. Okay, enter. So we've done our declaration. I don't need test number. Declare, initialize. We've got the user entering in 2 numbers, 2 user prompts. I call them user prompting. Okay, and now we're going to do our if. Okay, let's do this. If it's a little bit of a pain getting it set up the way you want, but okay, if first number is greater than or equal to, okay, that's what it means, right? It'll check if it's greater. It'll also check if it's equal to. Okay, remember it's 2 symbols inside. Okay, these are our expressions. Is first number greater than second number, or is first number equal to second number? It'll do 2 checks. All right, and we'll do another if inside, and then we're going to use the modulo. Okay, So I'm going to actually go like this. We're going to need the extra. So here we go, modulo. Second number. I could start typing second and use the pull down list. It'll be here as well. And then just hit enter or tab. Okay, so we're going to divide the first number by the second number. And it has to equal to something, okay? If it's equal to 0, the remainder, right? See if we're testing to see if they're evenly divisible. Okay, that's the first check. First things first, we have to make sure that first number is greater than or equal to second number. Okay? If this is true, it'll go inside to here. Okay? Again, this is understanding how code is run and how it works under the hood, in a sense, line by line. Okay? So then it'll go into this and check this. It's going to do the division of first number divided by second number. Are they equal to 0? Is it evenly divisible? I'm not going to do the long math, but you get the idea. Okay? If, I'm just going to copy this to save some time. If the first number is, remember when you copy, always update your code. Okay? Equal to. So, if this becomes true, then it's going to go into here. That's really all it's doing, is the compiler is going, boom, check. Oh, this is true. Boom, next thing, check. Oh, this is true. Boom, check. This is true. And it just keeps going and going. I could go in infinitely here if I wanted to, but you don't want to go that wild, okay? Okay, so if the first number is equal to the second number, we're going to return something to the effect, both numbers are the same, okay? And then I'm gonna put my, again, you could have, because we're not returning any variables, I could just put an enter inside my string literal. Okay, remember that. This is a string literal. Okay, this is legal. Okay, this is our new line enter. Okay, whoops. I was working with a bunch of if-else statements last night, as a matter of fact, because I'm working on a program right now. It's all IP network related, but that's for me, and I'll share it with you guys on YouTube. If you guys here on Twitch want to check it out, check out my YouTube channel. Don't forget to hit the like button as you pass through, and I'll see you back here, because it's great to have you. Okay, so, right? First number equals second number. Both numbers are exactly, just to be clear, right, the same. And then I'm just going to copy this, and I just want the string literal part. Okay. All right. So now I'm going to type the both numbers are evenly divisible. Okay, there we go. Following so far? Again, we could continue this. We could actually add an else to this if statement right here. Okay, remember, don't mess your curly brackets up. If you noticed, right, if I go enter and put an else here, well, this else belongs with this if. This is why I always say brother to the sister. This curly bracket is the brother to this sister curly bracket. Same thing here. This is the brother, this is the sister. They belong together. Okay? This if statement Well, this else statement belongs with this if statement. Okay? Which I could have, right? So we'll leave it empty for now. So here's my tip. Don't mess with your curly brackets. You got these nice little lines which show the connection, right? So that's why I always, tab, I'll do a little extra, and then I'll do any editing and cleanup at the end of my code. So let's type in another else statement. So this else statement belongs with this if statement. It's all just having it organized in your mind, guys and gals. Okay? You can see the link. This else statement belongs with this if statement. These all belong together. This belongs with this. And this belongs with this. Okay? All right, what are we gonna do? So I'm gonna just copy this. Let me just see where I'm at here, so I'll mess this thing up. Okay, that's good. That's good. Oh, that's the other thing. They actually haven't put in the brackets. Here's the other thing, guys and gals. You don't necessarily, if you only have an if else statement, you can actually clean up your code and do this. So the program is smart enough, it's intelligent enough, or the compiler, to know that this belongs with this and that this belongs with this. This only works if you have just one set, okay? If you're gonna have more than one, I would not do this, okay? This is bad. No bueno, no bueno, okay? Again, it only works if you have two, like an if with an else. That's it. Okay? That's up to you. You could actually not use the curly brackets. It'll still run. It'll know which to output. Okay? But if you like seeing the clean or the organized code, use the curly brackets. Again, this is kind of an up to you thing, your decision, right? I like to use them. For me, it organizes it, and I can see the connection. It just, I don't know, it organizes it better for me. This is a little too cluttered, but this is just my own opinion. But this still works, okay? It's not going to break. It's going to be fine. All right, just to let you know. Okay? Whoops. Let's clean it up. All right. Again, you decide on what you like to do. You can kind of... this is kind of the part where you can have a little bit some differences with your code, right? It's up to you. But if you're going to not use them, you should be consistent. If you have another block of code somewhere that only has like just an if and else together, make sure you do the same thing down, just be consistent, right? All right, so else, right? This else belongs with this. So then you go, okay, if this is not true, then we're going to say something else. Both numbers are not evenly divisible. Okay? There, that's done. I'm not going to overdo it. Okay? All this is inside the if statement. Again, this is only going to be executed if this is true. If this is false, it just jumps to here. Okay? I know I can't speak, but I try. Alright, so the last thing, if first number is greater than or equal to second number, yeah, it has to be equal so that we could actually use this. I don't know. Hey, wow, you're trolling again. I don't know, something, right? Because, second number is larger. I don't like writing this much information, right? But you get the idea. Hey, the second number is larger than the first number. This is kind of getting a little lengthy. I don't really like to like. I don't really like to write lengthy statements. I try to keep them simple. But anyways, you get the idea. Okay? And that's it. That's the end of it, right? Again, there's ways to write this code. If they try to troll, we could actually swap the numbers and be smarter than the user. And then then we get the last laugh, and the user thinking that they're smarter end up with a pouty face. Yeah, they do. It's great. I love giving them pouty faces. Well, use the program the way it's supposed to be, and then you won't end up with a pouty face. Okay, so let's test the pouty face. Okay, 34, 55. Okay. Hey, second number is larger than the first number. Wow, you're trolling again. Okay, so that works. Let's do the exact same numbers. Both numbers are exactly the same. Boom, that works. I should have backslash here because I need that extra enter, which I keep forgetting to add. There we go. Okay, just to create some separation, that's all it's doing. Okay, I'll do it again. 55, 55 there, see? We'll just get that extra enter. That's what it's doing. Okay, now let's test. We've tested that. We've tested this. We've tested this. You always test your code, guys. As you're the creator, you're allowed to break your own code or try to, right? You have to be smarter than the user, which, probably generally speaking, you viewer, if you click the play button, you're already intelligent in my books. You're smarter than the user already, right? So, but you're going to have to do stuff in your code to make sure. You kind of have to think, what can a user do that's going to try to break the code, right? And you have to do workarounds, figure ways to keep them from breaking it. The goal is to make the code or program run smoothly, right? That's the goal. Okay? And then you could write code where, let's say they're logged in and they type the wrong information, and then you go boom, then you kick them right out and you lock them right out, and then you delete their password and you lock them right out of the computer, and then they're never allowed to use it ever again, because that's what they get. That's a lot of code to do to be able to do that. We're not doing that here, but you could do those sort of things. You could just kick them right out of the program for entering incorrect information and being a troll. All right. What do we have to do? Both numbers are evenly divisible. Okay. Well, I don't know what numbers to enter, but let's try 24 and 2. Both numbers are evenly divisible. Nice. And let's do 24 and 3. What? That's a what? Both numbers. Okay, that broke. What's up? It should. First number modulo. Oh, because 24 goes, 3 does go into 24. Ah! Let's try 24 and 6 goes into 24. I'm kind of banging my head a little bit. 3 does go into 24, Bob. Okay, 4, 5. Let's try 5. There we go. Both numbers are not evenly divisible. There we go. Yay! Drop the A's. All right, let's go. Excuse me, guys. Need some more coffee. Ha ha. Almost out of coffee. Need more coffee. Nurse, coffee IV stat. It's all I have, guys and gals. I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't do drugs. All I do is drink coffee and code. And I actually love it. I do. I enjoy life because this is my hobby. Imagine coding for a hobby. Is there anybody in the world that codes for a hobby? I don't know, maybe. Coding for fun. Okay, so there you go. That's the program in a nutshell. You get the idea, right? We've tested everything. It seems to be working. There are things that we could improve and expand on, but it's, a good baseline program, right? It's a good starting baseline program. You can build on something like this easily, right? Maybe it's not a divisible number program. I mean, I guess technically you could create something like this. Maybe you have a game idea with numbers, right? And the code, if this isn't true, it'll go into another set of code, right? You're the creator. Right? You could do it, right? You don't need to hold somebody else's hand or have them hold your hand. You could do it. You could create and be an inventor of something new, a new idea, a new concept. All you need to do is just learn how to write the code. And then once you learn how to write and all the different things that are involved with coding, once you get all that in the theory and all the different things that you could do, we'll get there, guys, if you keep watching. Once you get all that, kind of like your tools, all the tools you need, then the world's your oyster. It truly is. Okay, using braces if in nested if statements. Okay, I'm not gonna do the breakdown of this code, right? You get the idea. I think it's straightforward, right? You're intelligent. I don't want to kind of break it down. Well, this is doing, like too much, right? I think you get the idea that what you could do, right? You can really expand on this. Okay, using braces in nested if statements. Although it is legal to leave out the braces, kind of like I showed you, right? It is legal. It'll still run, right? Because the program knows what belongs with what. What did I just do? I just deleted everything. Okay. That's the great thing about undo, redo. It's your friend. Whoops. Okay, I use Control-Shift-Z and Control-Z a lot as well. That's what I do for undo, redo. Okay, so this will run, okay? It's legal. Whoop. Okay, leave it alone. Stop there. Okay, it's legal to leave out the braces on if statements. They are only a single. Yeah, they have to be a single like statement, right? Let's say you didn't have the else, right? And it was just a singular if. You can do this, right? You don't need to put in the extra brackets. It'll still run. Okay, guys? Okay, what else does it say? So little tips and tricks here. Okay, and it is legal to nest if statements. Doing so can cause enormous confusion. Right? That's why I use the curly brackets. It lessens that confusion. The following is perfectly legal in C++, although it looks somewhat confusing. So yeah, here, watch. Okay, I don't want to confuse you, but yeah, I want to show you how easy it is where the code could get really messy. Okay, so we're just going to use X and Y. Okay, just simple variables. Okay, if, okay, I used brackets. It's just a habit for me to use brackets. Because I use brackets in my code. I do, the curly ones. If X is greater than Y, right, then I could type if, another if, right, it starts getting ugly, right? Our brain can't, our brain just breaks, right? It does, okay? When code's written like this. Is there another variable? There was too. Okay, it gets ugly and nasty. It's hard to read. I mean, it's fine if it's just a small, right, short little program. But it's ugly. It looks very amateurish. It does. It's not professional would be a word. It just, yeah, it's not very professional. What did I do there? Silly me. Okay. If X is greater than Y, we can see what's happening. I think it'll still build and run. The software is intelligent. It knows how to separate and organize, and it knows what belongs with what. Again, everything's run line by line. Everything's run line by line, right? So, I haven't actually put any values, but let's say I put, I don't know, equals 5. We'll see what happens. Equals 8. Equals 10. Okay, let's just see what happens. What it's going to return. Actually, it's not going to return anything, to be honest. I'd have to put some return statements. If X is less than Y, X is equal to Y. I could actually just standard, because you need to see the return, right? I could go X. Y, nope, X, and then now I can go Y, and then return the actual variable, and then, I don't know, we'll just do a standard new line, or end line, I mean. Some of you may like that. Okay, it kind of jumped it, but, yeah, and there we go. It kind of jumped it, but. Let's see, I'm just going to go like this. I just want to see what the return's going to be. Okay, in this case, it's Z this time. Just curious. This is just for curiosity's sake. And again, I could go Y first this time so that I know which part is executing. Okay, I did that because here it's Y equals X, and here it's X equals Y. Okay, let's see what happens. Oh, what am I mixing? Illegal matching. See, now it's starting to get ugly. It doesn't like it. 44, 45. Yeah, illegal matching. Yeah, I don't know. I guess at this point, I may be wrong in saying that the program knows. It doesn't know, right? It doesn't know. That's what it's looking like. I've never, because I use curly brackets, guys. Okay? I don't try to find, like, I like errors. I like mistakes. It helps me learn and grow, but curly brackets is just one of those things that you don't want to mess up. Code isn't going to run without curly brackets or the proper curly bracket organizational skills. Okay? I don't write code like this. This is just too ugly. And again, the program doesn't know what is what. So what I could do is maybe this will help. Because I'm just curious now to see what is what. Okay, there we go. That cleaned that up. Okay, and then I could go like this. And now at least we know some of it. Right, there you go. See how easy it is to fix your code? It's that quick, right? So now all it needs, now it knows that these belong together. Let's see if that helped. Well, it fixed one of them, but it's still confused. Number 46, right? It's still confused. So there you guys go. Now you know. Curly, without it, it just gets broken. And it is easy to clean up your code as long as you know where to put your curly brackets. I do this all the time. I'm used to fixing my FL statements. There, that should clean it up. Look at that. That didn't take me long now, did it? Okay, now let's see if that worked. Let's go! Drop the A's! All right, let's run it. I want to see what happens. Because I know X is less than Y and Y is less than Z or Z. Let's find out. I just want to see what it returns. So, oh, I forgot commas. I need that extra. So it's saying Y is 5 and X is 5. So it ran the very last one here. So what I need to clean things up is just put a comma right at this point here. And that cleans things up nicely. Again, if you're used to doing stuff with the coordinate system, right, you'll have that comma. So I'll build again. I'll run it. It didn't take me long to clean it up now, did it, guys? Y equals 5 and X equals 5. So here it's, I know it's running this because that's why I deliberately put Y on the left and X on the right, so that I knew which block of code it was running. This is all part of the testing, right? You gotta be, a little bit, you gotta kind of outthink the compiler a little bit, right? Because if I just copied this exactly verbatim, I wouldn't know which of these two ran, right? I would have to kind of think of it, okay, which one ran? X is greater than Y, which is not true, so it goes right to the else statement. That makes sense. Totally makes sense. So if I switch this, now let's make X bigger than Y. It should now go into this. 10 and 10. There we go, right? So X is greater than Y, okay? But if X is less than Y, do this, okay? Else, do this. Aha, see? Isn't that cool? We got different variables and stuff happening too, right? So now we made X equal to Z. This is changing the value. the value of X, right? That's what we're doing right here. That's what we're doing right here. Okay, we're updating, the program's running, right? The program's running, and we're updating the variable in memory, right? It goes from the original state or the original value on the stack, right? And then it gets changed while it's running. We're swapping here essentially. Actually, not swapping. We're leapfrogging. We're leapfrogging the values. Y is equal to X, right? Remember, left-hand side equals right-hand side. So the value of Y gets stored into X here. The value of Z gets stored into X here. That's why X becomes 10. That's how the code works, guys. All right. How are we doing for time here? How long have we been going? Yeah, we're at that time now, guys. Is there anything else to do on that? I don't need to really. I've already kind of gone over the breakdown a little bit. Demonstration of the proper use of braces. Okay. I could type another one next stream. It's a short one, it looks like. Maybe I'll type it out. Depends. We'll continue with this. Do a little quick program. And then we're going to get into using logical operators. There we go. We're going to get into that next. We are on, I just want to make sure I update the page number I'm on. I wish things were going a little bit quicker, guys, but again, the theory and such, right? I want to kind of go into it with a little more detail, explain things. So it may take a little bit, longer than maybe most. I don't know. But I like to feel you're getting the full understanding, and that's the goal. To kind of keep it simple. Keep it simple, Stanley! And have you guys learn and understand it, because really, C++ isn't that scary. Lots to learn, I will add, because there's lots. There is lots. And it's a great language to learn. It truly is. All right, guys and gals, Johnny with Whiskey Tango Sharp Coding. Appreciate you all. Thank you for watching. Bless. Whoever you are, wherever you are, you're awesome. Just letting you know. Okay, look in the mirror. Look in the mirror today and go, I am awesome. Okay, say that to yourself at least 3 times. All right? That is it, Johnny Whiskey Tango Sharp Coding. I appreciate y'all. Thank you for supporting the channel. Don't forget to like and sub. Remember, sharing is caring. Appreciate you being here. I can't say it enough like I do. I appreciate you watching, guys. Yeah, that's it. I'll see you in the next video. Have a great weekend. It is Friday over here. Much love. Peace out. Take care for now. Johnny saying, peace out, guys. Peace.